Hello and welcome to another reading vlog. In this one I'm going to be reading Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and it's going to be in two parts. So the first part is me reading this. It's going to be like a just normal reading vlog, and I will be giving you my thoughts on the book. I've never read it before, so this is new to me, this book. And then the second part, we are actually going to Jane Austen's house, which is in a village called Chawton, which is near Winchester way, so it's in Hampshire, so it's not far from where I live. So I'm looking forward to that as well. We're going to there, plus Chawton House, which was the house that was owned by Jane Austen's brother. It's about a 10-minute walk down the road from the cottage that Jane Austen actually lived in. So visiting both of those places, and I'm going to be showing that in this vlog as well. So like I said, I've not read this before. I've always wanted to read it. I think I've seen like snippets of the film with Mr. Darcy, and so I kind of get the gist of it. I'm pretty sure it's, you know, a rich, wealthy female falling in love with a not so rich and wealthy and, you know, a lord, for instance, or I don't know what Mr. Darcy is, but I think as well there's a part of him that's his character that's just not a very nice character at some point. What am I thinking? I don't really know, to be honest. Yeah, like I said, I've never read the book, and I've only ever seen like snippets of the film, so I'm really looking forward to it. And I thought it was perfect to read in February, and it's something that I've always wanted to read. Plus I wanted to go to the Jane Austen house, so I thought I'd do a reading vlog, so I'm going to take you along on this reading journey, starting with the first part of this vlog will be obviously reading this, and then actually being at Jane Austen's house, having a look around and seeing what's there. So I'm really excited, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so I'm coming on here with a bit of a reading update for Pride and Prejudice. So I haven't really read very much. I'm only 29 pages in. In my, what's it called, introduction, I basically said how I thought it was, you know, this rich woman who's living with her family, and she ends up getting into a relationship with Mr. Darcy, who's meant to be this poor person. Yeah, that's not the case. He's not poor. He's a rich person, but he's a very arrogant rich person. So obviously the start of this is that he's not a very nice character. So I'm guessing he kind of turns into a nice character as the story goes on. But like I said, I'm only like 29 pages in. I haven't really had much time to read at all today. I think I read for like 10 minutes before, like 10-20 minutes before lunch, and about 20 minutes before work. So yeah, I haven't got very far with it and done as much reading as I thought I would have had time for, because yeah, it's been one hell of a day at work. It really has. So I'm going to do a little bit of reading now for half an hour, but I've got my phone on now, so I will have to answer the phone if that rings. But I'm pretty much done with all of the bits and pieces that I had to get done. But it's been a hell of a day, It's, yeah, it's not been fun, let's put it that way. So this evening, hopefully, you know, it's not going to be anything strenuous going on, but our mantelpiece has arrived, but Paul's parents are coming over to visit this evening, so we won't be doing the mantelpiece. That will be Saturday morning's job, so it's fine. But yeah, they are coming over this evening after dinner, so depending on what time they go, it might be a late evening. So, I'm so tired. When I say it's been a hell of a day at work, I really do mean it. It's not been fun, but it's all done. Obviously I'm still in work at the moment, but all the bits and pieces that I had to do is now done for today, at least anyway. I do have quite a bit to do tomorrow as well, but that tomorrow is another day. So yeah, I'm gonna do, my hair's an absolute mess because I literally just chucked it up after, like, had a shower and ran out the door pretty much. So it's an absolute mess, but yeah, I just wanted to give a little update because obviously in my intro I basically said the whole wrong thing. He's not a poor person, he's actually a very rich man and just a very arrogant man, so not a likable character at the beginning. The writing style does take some getting used to, I'm not gonna lie. Like, obviously it's like old English and is a bit difficult in some parts, but yeah, other than that, I reckon it's gonna be nice. I love like the setting of it. It's very much, you know, period drama type thing, isn't it? It's a very, yeah, old school. So yeah, I'm just gonna read a little bit for now, but I probably won't get any more reading done this evening. And so yeah, we'll just see, we'll play it by ear, see how we go with it. But that was my little update.
The car. From where we were sitting, that was the least of his problems. As my colleague's tail lights dissolved into the night, I was left to trundle on, alone.
Okay, I thought I'd do a little haul because we spent the morning going to the range. We've got this with a candle. We've got a candle to go in it. That's going to go, well, where it is for the fireplace. This mantle we're going to be putting up in a bit. That's the next job to do today. But I also got this candle holder, which is going to go down the centre of the table. We've got a dark green table runner, which I'm excited for because we also have gold cutlery. So I think it'll look nice. These are just the flameless candles, which are going to go on top of the mantelpiece when it's up. And then obviously these are the little candles that go in here. So just a few little bits today. I also ordered the cushion covers, but we do need to get a mirror for up here. And then above the sofa needs to have some sort of picture down the dining room end as well. Got the Hoover at the moment, but the table's not here yet, so we can't put this out just yet, but I've got it ready because the table's coming on Tuesday. So now this afternoon we've got to put the mantelpiece up. Hello, right, excuse my hair, I don't know what's going on with it. I don't have a clue. It's very windswept. I've just been out in the garden, so filling up the garden waste bin. I just do many like adult things nowadays. I mean, I know I'm an adult, I just don't really feel like an adult most of the time. And then I do like adult things and I'm like, yeah, I'm adulting today. So this morning we went to the range and done our mill. Is that what it's called? So 2 places that you get home stuff in. And obviously I've shown you my haul. Then we've got back, well, we did have some lunch. It was just like a picnic type of thing in the car. And then kind of just chilled for like 10-15 minutes, just sat down to chill, like 20 minutes I think. Paul's still in the middle of doing the mantle, so he's had to go to Wickes to go and get some certain screws, and whilst he's been doing that, trying to sort that out and everything, I've been in the garden filling up the green waste bin because I'm not going to have any time to do it next weekend, so I thought I have to do it this weekend, and it would be nice just to have tomorrow that was a bit more chill. So I thought if I do it today, whilst it's not raining, but it's like, it's not great weather. It's very weird weather and slightly windy, and it's made my hair go really frizzy. I actually washed my hair this morning and look at the frizz. Oh, I don't know. This is what happens when I do gardening. Every time I do gardening, I don't know. But yeah, I've now come in, made a cup of tea, which is a chai masala Indian tea, which is very nice. And I'm going to read a little bit. I didn't really do a speaking update yesterday, which was Friday. I didn't get very far. I'm still not very far into this. I've hardly read anything at all. It's actually quite difficult to read. Like the writing style is obviously Old English and just very old school. So it's taken some time to get into it. I need to figure out who's who as well. There's a lot of characters that are all quite similar. So I kind of feel like I need to get a character list. So I'm gonna search for one of those online first, and I think that should help me. I'm hoping I can just get into this because obviously we are going to Jane Austen's house. I want to really, really enjoy this. I don't know whether I'm pressuring myself to enjoy it too much, so I'm not. I don't know. It's not that I'm not enjoying it. I'm just haven't got into it yet. But I think that might be because I haven't had a chance to just sit and only read. So I've got a cup of tea. My plan is to just sit and only read. I don't know how long this is going to last because obviously when Paul gets back, he's going to be putting up that mantle in this room. And I might need to like hold something. I don't know. But yeah, I thought I'd just give an update of what's been going on today. And hopefully tomorrow is going to be just a chill day. That's what I'm really hoping for, but we shall see. But yeah, there's my little update. I excuse them, like just excuse the mess of me. I can't even speak then. I can see it in here and it's just horrendous, but there's nothing we could do about it, unfortunately. It's just gone really frizzy for whatever reason. Anyway, let's get into reading, shall we? Hello, I wanted to do a little reading update because I don't know if I did one yesterday. I'm basically at a point now in this book where I'm actually really enjoying it. Just excuse the hair, pretend you can't see that. Yeah, I'm actually really enjoying it. We're now getting to the point where Mr. Darcy is trying to prove himself to Elizabeth Bennet. And yeah, I mean, obviously at the beginning, I was like, I don't like Mr. Darcy. This book's annoying me. But now I'm starting to see him in a different light, and I think, yeah, actually he's not as bad as I first thought, and I think Elizabeth Bennet is starting to realise that as well. So yeah, this book is a very complicated one because it takes a while to get into. The writing style isn't, you know, amazing, and that's because obviously it was written in the early 1800s. So it's completely different to what we're used to now, and I think that it takes some getting used to. But now I'm really enjoying the story, and I'm enjoying, you know, the themes to the story. So obviously we do have wealth and class as a massive thing to this story. We're also seeing like some like self-acknowledgement, where they're both, Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy, are figuring out their faults and are working to, you know, change themselves and change those faults. We're also having this theme of not judging someone on your first encounter. And this is what Elizabeth Bennet is starting to learn, is that you shouldn't just judge someone from the very first appearance that you've had with them, or the very first encounter that you've had with them. And I'm loving those themes. I'm liking that a lot. I'm starting to really enjoy the story, and that's a good thing, because I was a bit concerned that I just was not going to like this book. And I really want to obviously go to Jane Austen's house, and see, I'm glad that I'm now getting into it. And I'm keen to see where this goes for both Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy. But yeah, it is a difficult book to get into, and there are some unlikable characters, like Mrs. Bennet. I'm not a fan of. She's very much just wanting to marry her daughters off. And I get that back in those days, if you weren't in the most wealthiest of families, then you needed to basically marry someone that was wealthy to help the rest of the family out. And that's kind of what the case is here. And this is why Mrs. Bennet is so determined to marry off her daughters. But obviously back then it was the thing. It was the norm. Obviously now we don't get told who we marry. We make our own choices, which I'm very thankful for, let's be honest. So yeah, I'm glad that we've come a long way from the 1800s. Still not perfect in 2024, if I'm honest, in my opinion, but you know, we're getting there. So I'm glad that I'm now enjoying it. I'm going to make myself a coffee, continue reading this. I finish work at 6, I'll have some dinner, and then I'm going to be sitting in the library this evening. It's the first time back in the library after having my book nook all over the floor, so I haven't been just sitting in the library because the cats couldn't go in with all these bits and pieces on the floor. So I have been out of the library for a while, so I'm pleased to be going back into it this evening. So it's going to be an evening of reading, because I'm not going to my parents for dinner tonight. So yeah, hopefully I can crack on with this, make a good dent in it. I mean, preferably finishing this tonight, but if not, obviously it can go into tomorrow. That's absolutely fine. But I just wanted to give a little bit of a quick reading update for you, that just to basically say that I am now enjoying the book, thankfully. Okay, so I have finally finished Pride and Prejudice. So I actually finished this just before I finished work at 6, but it's out gone 10 o'clock at night, and I'm only just able to update on this because we had quite a bit to do this evening. Basically, I think it's going to be a 3-star read. So I did enjoy it. There's many aspects of this that I really liked. I just kind of felt at some points I just wasn't invested enough in it, and there was moments where I kind of felt like it dragged a lot, and I feel like it would have been much nicer to see more between Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy. But we kind of had this whole section where we were just focusing on Lydia, who's Elizabeth's sister, one of Elizabeth's sisters, and like the scandal of her running away with this bloke, and this is all kind of scandalous, and Mrs. Bennet, the mother, is beside herself, and and all of that. And that kind of turned into like the main plot at one point. So yeah, if there was more to do with Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy to like build up on this romance, I think I would have enjoyed this so much more. But you know, it was okay. It's a really bizarre angle for me to be on. I'm kind of sad because of the lighting. I've had to sit in front of one of the lights, but I'm on a bit of an angle in the bed. Yeah, it was an okay read. You know, I can see that Jane Austen was obviously a very good author in her time, and you know, it is very much enemies to lovers. I kind of feel like maybe I'm not the world's biggest fan of enemies to lovers, which kind of didn't help. But yeah, there was a lot with this book that I really enjoyed. You know, I love the whole idea of not judging someone with your first encounter with them, and always like the sort of don't judge a book by its cover. You know, there's a lot of book references in this as well, by the way, the libraries and reading. I loved the descriptions of like the setting and of the houses. You know, there was a lot I loved about this book. I just kind of felt like at times the pace just slowed right down, and I kind of denied whether it was a 3 or 4 star read. I think it's probably closer to 3 than 4, but I still enjoyed it. It's a really difficult one to rate because obviously it is a classic. It was written in the 1800s, so you kind of have to take that into consideration because obviously the writing is very different to what we see nowadays. But yeah, it's kind of very much like I enjoyed it, but there were some aspects that kind of makes it difficult for me to rate higher. But yeah, I would definitely recommend reading it if you're into romance and into classics, and even if you're just interested to see how this book is. So I'm going to hopefully watch the film at some point this week before Saturday, but the next clips that you'll see will be at Jane Austen's house, which is in a village in Hampshire near to Winchester. So those will be the next clips that you will see. So I'm going to wrap up this part of the vlog and just finish the whole vlog on just clips from Jane Austen's house. So thank you very much for watching, and I will be back soon as well with another video.
Yeah, but like that's exactly. The green in the dining parlour is still being a recreation, but that unfortunately that was Austen. And we're in one of the bedrooms upstairs.